When I tell you, my bad, my bad. Um, like when I tell you, I'm so sorry, guys. Golly, let me get this where it looks decent. When I tell you, I've tried to call him 3 times and it just spins and it's like live chat not available right now. And then I have to leave and come back in and leave and come back in. I don't know what is going on with this, but third time's the charm. This is the third time and it finally worked. So maybe that's the gist of the message. This is a coffee and tarot. Spirit wants to talk about something with you. So they have the reins, okay? We're not coming in with any kind of preconceived notions, parameters, anything like that. So we're going to sit down, we're going to listen, and they're going to take charge. And apparently, the very first message is third time's the charm. Alrighty then. So, hey, how are you? I gotta get this where it's like where you can really see it. I'm trying to make it because I bumped this camera like crazy. Am I doing this right? I want you to be able to see the. Oh, somebody shoot me. Okay, there we go. I'm having issues. Anywho, we're just gonna put my cup over here. So yeah, try to come on 3 times. It was acting a donkey. Like it would act like it was gonna happen, and then it would just you know what I mean? So again, you may have attempted something, things were lining up like it was gonna pop off, and then it just didn't, right? Apparently, third time's a charm. So let's just dive in. Let me give first the spiel. First the spiel. You are a sovereign being of your life. You get to determine if, how, when, where, why any of these messages might apply. My recommendation is to never Cinderella it to make it fit. Okay? Fantastic. Oh, my muscle wounds. Um, Hello. All right, let's see here. We are going to do so Night Sun Tarot is the speaking to me. Yes, it's only collective. Sorry about that. It's a coffee and tarot kind of day. Five of Swords. Little bit of conflict going on. A little bit of conflict. Hello, everybody. Okay. Hierophant. Let's keep going really quick. Chariot. Oh gosh, they're like a million messages are flying at me, and I need to see which one we're going to pursue because these feel like they're completely different. Conflict and some kind of commitment, wrapping up and moving forward. Sure. I also got conflict. Hierophant represents a bit of like the establishment, tradition. It reminds me of patriarchy and conformity and things like that. So like some kind of like conflict, patriarchal. This is like a battle that seems to be happening globally, and it's time that something is aligning. So we start. It's like pulling away from that, right? Um, then they gave me a bit of like a battle with some type of like religious or spiritual conflict, like religious trauma or something to that effect. And again, there's something about moving away with the world card. There's this pulling away and like wrapping something up and moving on. It's like starting over. Starting over. Okay, we might be getting somewhere like that. Um there is some kind of conflict there, and it's surrounding something very traditional. Okay, something uh uh status quo feeling. This could be patriarchal. This could be religious. This could be familial. I'm also getting like family, like, cultural, something to that effect. And there's a need to get away. There's a need to get away. The world card is giving me like the move, right? Expanding, moving to more expansive places. Chariot, definitely. Between the world and the chariot, this is like getting the hell out of Dodge almost. Because chariot is kind of like the idea of like moving forward, not looking back, right? It is making progress. Both of these are giving very travel long distances. It's like I've got to get away. I've got to get away. And shit, with something like this, sometimes it can feel damn near impossible to get away from whatever traditional viewpoint, standpoint, or like traditional how do I put this? Like environment with to operate within. You know what I mean? Because it feels so very expansive. Like this, God, like where do you go to get away from this shit? Like where do you go? Um, can you escape something like that? Is a question. And the idea of the world card is like you'd have to move. It feels like you'd have to move far. You'd have to go far. You'd have to distance yourself far because if it's something cultural, like you would really have to uproot yourself and go somewhere completely different culturally speaking. And that is a very long distance, generally speaking. Um, I know we talk about like the microcultures within particular regions, but this feels like but all seem to maintain some kind of traditional viewpoint. And so this is like having to like really go the distance to escape something like that. I'm thinking of uh, okay, for this is not necessarily what this is talking about, but I know I've had individuals that like say left India because of the tradition of like arranged marriages and things like that, and like the push from family um, to get married, with like the approval and things like that that's required and the age time frame and so like really that's deeply rooted right within the culture. And so like they literally uprooted themselves and moved completely out of the country to for a different cultural standard. Like they didn't feel like they fit in. It's not saying one way or the other whether or not that's good, bad, yay, nay. It wasn't for them, right? Um, think of in the United States the Bible Belt and uh, conservative white nationalist ideology. Like you'd have to really uproot yourself to escape that, to feel like you could escape that. There's little teeny tiny pockets that exist within those areas, but overall, it is the overall cultural because it has embedded itself in all the various cultures in within society. And so it's kind of those things where you'd have to go far, like you'd have to uproot yourself and move far to get away from it. That's what it feels like. I'd have to really separate myself in order to feel like I've pulled out, because it's like it feels like if you're anywhere close, anywhere nearby, you would still have this as the controlling factor involved. Guys, okay. So um there are some people who really have to move even when it's familial. I mean, to get out from underneath the influence of their family and their family name. So, because there is this sense of, um, rather than commit, it's like having to abide by. It's like this sense of authority over, to impose, is what it feels like. Four of Swords. See how like it's almost like to get away from all of this. Oh shoot. The imagery of this is kind of like really having to remove oneself. Like there's something about the land, and so they're standing on the swords as if they were stilts, and this acts as like a I have to remove my. That's the only way they can get mental relief. That's the only way that they can get relief from the conflict, to go from the Five of Swords to the Four of Swords. So like they can't even touch down in like, so this is about moving. Yeah, Eight of Cups. This is about the only way to bring in any kind of balance is to leave a place. But again, it feels like there's something like this ideology or well established, overarching framework and paradigm, okay, seems to really be connected to a very particular place on this planet. And so there is the only way to really get away from that influence and to like have it not touch you, and not to have to live in a world where you're like this because of it, to get that reprieve, to escape it, you'd have to leave. Okay. I shit you not, the tower. YouTube needs to get its stuff together. I could sit there, like it'll say, it goes back and forth. Like it'll say there's one person watching. I know there's more than one person watching. I know YouTube is lying because it bebops back and forth, and everybody will be talking. I've done this before on lives before, where it's like people are chatting in the chat. Way more people are chatting in the chat, but YouTube's like, oh, there's only one. And I'm like, is this your way of trying to downgrade my views so that I can't monetize? What's going on here, YouTube? Anyways, I shuffled and the tower's still there. So this is breaking free. Somebody has to break free. You have got to break free. Don't you dare. Temperance. Spirit's going to try to help you with this. Spirit wants to help you with this. Okay. We're doing Azathoth. The world, again, it's a big move, long distance. Like the world really does represent the idea of the immensity of varying cultures, religions, beliefs, people, ethnicities, experiences. Like it is the all encompassing. Really represents the myriad of choice it can feel because of this. This is something that seems to plague many places. Where do you choose? How do you do that? World card is about bringing a positive resolution to something so that you can begin again, right? It's closing something out. It is time to leave. We know that. It is time to move. We know that. Not just a small distance. We're going to, all right, Captain Obvious. The same cards, 8 of Cups. You're going to have to leave, something behind. I don't feel like the leaving anything behind is going to feel like, 8 of Cups can sometimes be like things that once meant something to you, but, you have to walk away to get exactly what you want. I don't feel like you're really having to lose out when you walk away. You're probably at the position and the point in your travels, on your journey, on your expansion in your life, where it's like it's well worth it, right? Let's see here. Yeah, death. You have to bring an end to something in order to have something new begin. Page of Swords. So it feels like there's some information that you're needing. Okay. Right now we're playing Captain Obvious because, we're just going to pull out the same cards that we've already established. Pick that up in the first line up here. So what's the information that's necessary or needed? And is this them seeking it or receiving it? Ooh, it wants to. It really, really wants to. King of Swords. This information will allow you to be decisive about your decision. Like, I know that really sounds like the same fucking thing, but it's not. Meaning, a lot of people will conceptually choose something, but never fully make the decision because they take no action on it. There's a decisiveness to the King of Swords. He's going to execute whatever he chooses to do. Like whatever his decision is, he will execute it. They just said with authority. I don't know why they added that. Hand your swords, please. Lovers. Okay. There's some information you need. Let's look at the lovers. Queen of Wands. Woohoo, baby. Queen of Wands. Okay. I feel like I need to see it bebops back and forth. Bebops back and forth. 8 of Wands. You're losing me, Spirit. You're losing me. Two of Wands. Hold on. Yeah, okay, so like 2 of Wands with the Temperance card is the energy of when Spirit tells you to do something, you're gonna have to do it. Okay, you need to do it. It's like the time for questioning why and trying to figure it out and being like, but I don't want to do that, or why are you adding extra steps, or I can't even see the reason why that's even necessary is over. Because there's a sense of like, first off, you're not going to have any peace. Okay. 5 swords. You're not going to have any peace until you take action. And Spirit is trying. It's the idea of like something or someone is guiding you and giving you a path out. 8 of Wands is like, this is something that's going to have to happen fast, right? But the idea is there's so much that can go wrong. When something's so fast-paced, there's no room for missteps because you're not going to have the time to make corrections on those missteps. So Spirit is kind of like, you got to do exactly as we're instructing. When we give you the information, don't chuck it. You need to listen. Lovers and the Queen of Wands. I just heard, are you ready? But that sounds really like, it's almost, I get the feeling like somebody's been like kind of demanding to get away from this, demanding a change. And it feels a little like, are you sure you're ready? Because when we say jump, you're going to have to be like, how high? And in fact, maybe don't even ask that, just fucking jump. Because whatever is planned is rapid, very, 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 very rapid. I don't feel like this is anything about the Page of Swords. But there is information there. And like I told you, when we're doing Coffee and Tarot Spirit, it's like, I'm on my own agenda. I'm going to say exactly what I want to say. You can ask all the questions you want. I might answer it. I might not. Because sometimes we be asking questions and Spirit never gets to the point that it wanted to because we go off half cock on a tangent. So that's why these conversations with Spirit are necessary, where the human is removed. Two of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is not only confidence, but also a sense of authority. You're not going to, you not easily moved. I'm trying to figure out how this connects to the Lovers. I'd love to be like, oh, you know, it's a person. I mean, well, sure, it's a person. Like, oh, it's your person. I don't fucking know, because it doesn't necessarily feel like that. This feels disjointed or disconnected from this up here. And I'm trying to figure out how they go into one another. You want to shed some light, Spirit? That'd be great. Ten of Pentacles. I'm feeling a lot of things right now. And this must be a big situation, because it's almost like I feel like I'm in the Queen of Swords energy, where I'm looking at a map, right? And the map shows a region, right? And it seems like there are multiple different things happening within that one little region, right? But one doesn't like it's connected, because the overarching thing is they all belong to the same like geographic region, but that seems to be the only real connection that I can garner from it, right? So let's say this is a big situation and there's a lot of moving parts. Or a lot of people involved. I feel like I'm picking up on multiple people within a larger situation, and each moving part or person and their story plays a factor in whatever is supposed to transpire, this new beginning, right? Because with this, we've got the Ten of Pentacles, and I was like, oh, I gave you like 3 different scenarios where the Hierophant was also like conflict within some kind of commitment, right? And something's wrapping up and someone's moving away from that and on. But it's freeing in a way, because it's like, it's the World card, right? It's like the sense of like someone can begin again. But then there's just, I've got to pull away from a place, a location, this oppressive, restrictive framework and lens and paradigm. I've got to get away from it. It is suffocating and it's connected to a place. And so I have to move far away, kind of a thing. there may be cultural, societal, religious factors that are playing a part in this. Um, because when I see Ten of Pentacles and I see the Hierophant, I'm like, oh, okay. And when there's the Two of Pentacles, it's like, okay, there's a decision, there's a change. It literally just says change. There's a change. So we've got the Lovers with the Queen of Wands, and it's kind of like no time to, I don't know. And up here, it feels like there's a lot of walking away. So there very well may be a lot of endings that are happening for varying different reasons and in a different way for each person involved in a situation or aspect of a situation. Hence, Spirit is like, we don't got time for you all to not follow through on something. There's too many moving parts and it's too easy to derail something. So you got to you really need to listen to the guidance that's being given. It's almost like it's too easy for something to go off the rails. See, there's this new beginning that's supposed to start. It's supposed to happen. Okay. But I feel like I want to try and tie something together, but we're not at the place of something being able to be tied together just yet, or maybe we're about to, because there's a lot of endings, a lot of walking away, a lot of rebirths that are about to happen. And I think everybody who's going through this process of wrapping things up, walking away, and having like a whole brand new life being birthed to them are about to either learn something or come into some kind of information, right? And the idea is you're going to have to really stand strong within your energy, within your truth. Like the Queen of Wands is not easily deterred from what she knows to be true for herself. She's not influenced to see something somebody else's way and kind of go their direction. She doesn't follow temptations. She doesn't chase at all. She stands firmly in what she believes. She stands firmly in what she knows to be true for herself. And that's where she exists. And either you meet her where she's at, or there's just no connection whatsoever. So there's a real, she's going in her direction, staying in her lane within her truth. That doesn't mean that she's not leaving something behind, that she's not moving towards something or having some kind of rebirth, but she most certainly is not going to get influenced or change trajectories or paths. Whatever is meant for her is just going to have to meet her somewhere on her path. They're going to have to converge. Starman. Let's see. What information is about to come to light? What information is there that's about to come to light? This Page of Swords has something that, like, if we knew it, it would make all of this sound. I feel like the Page of Swords is the, it is the, how do I put it? The thing that ties it all together. It is the convergence, it feels like. There's just a lot of moving parts and it's moving fast, and Spirit really needs people involved in this to listen and take direction. Two of Wands, and move in that direction. And funny enough, the Two of Wands is, he's holding the fucking world. So the world is, things need to wrap up. Things need to come to a close. things need to, you know what I mean? And it's like, and that's come out multiple times. There's underneath all of this, there's another world card. So it's kind of like they're saying, we need you in this wrapping up process to listen to what we're saying and what's required to wrap this up. And also wrap it the fuck up. Come on, let's go. So something has to happen very quickly. Very quickly. Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. Okay. There's the message. There's the envelope. There's the quill. There's the cup. There's the hand being extended. I feel like, come on. Spirit's like rushing somebody. Come on, time to wrap it up. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. I think some things have to end and wrap up so that something has to fuck me, I swear to God. So there's like some kind of ending coming into play. And the information, communication. So the wrapping up and the ending and walking away then leads to some kind of rebirth, rejuvenation, new start, right? And that's where, so somebody's being rushed and spirit really doesn't give a shit about the terminology because they're like, no, at this point, fucking come on. Somebody's being rushed to finish the fuck up with something so that the new thing can start. I don't want to say that there is like a time limit or a time frame or, whatever, but spirit's just like, get it done and get it done now. So yeah, something it's because in this scenario where there is moving parts, multiple aspects or multiple people, there's one where one person is making moves, okay? World card with a chariot. The other one, while making moves, isn't necessarily making moves in the sense of distance, if that makes sense. Their moves and their wrapping up are a little bit different. So I feel like there is a closing of the gap. And can I say, I do feel like there's this, like, think of it like your soul tribe or a new community coming together. There's some people that need to come together. And there are some where I feel as though they're the ones making like their change and wrapping up has to do with distance. And then others where it's kind of like their wrapping up is something that can be done locally. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't like because the Queen of Wands is stationary. She's not necessarily making moves for somebody else. Other people are making moves for her. So that doesn't mean she doesn't travel or she's not going to change places, but it feels as though somebody else's wrapping up and walking away and new start require doing more to bridge the gap, right? Think of it like pulling a soul tribe together. Some people may be already where they need to be and they're waiting for the other people to get there. But they have to you know what I mean? I keep getting confused because I'm like, who in this scenario, though, is doing that? Now, it very well may be that the Queen of Wands is the one that's doing this, but she's doing it not with the notion or idea of getting together with people or finding new, like she's not doing it for somebody else. She's doing it for herself. Let's put it that way. But we got the lovers right next to the Queen of Wands. All of this is to bring like there's something central that's kind of like pulling all of these like so okay, there an fuck me astrocartography, like you see those maps sometimes and like there's a bunch of lines that converge on one spot. That's what it feels like. And so Queen of Wands very well may be the beacon that pulls all the others in. And because again, I get lots of moving parts, lots of people involved in this. Lovers is people with soul ties or people that are in alignment, people that are connected. And so it's kind of like coming together, but she acts as the thing that pulls them in. Does that make sense? And I can't tell if she is the reason. Like if her energy is saying, "Come on, let's fucking go, let's do this." Like she's speeding it up for people. Like no, you're dragging your feet and you come on. Or if that's spirit, because somebody in this scenario is the one that has to take the action to bridge the gap of distance. So there's a change. Everybody's making a change of path. Or there is a change in path. Maybe at some point the Queen of Wands was the one that was going to be making a hold on, I got to sneeze. Oh. I'm so sorry for being so low. Good Lord. Oh my God. Oh, at the bottom of the friggin' deck. Didn't even realize. So how this is transpiring may have switched up and changed. Because I feel like time is of the essence. So maybe at some point the Queen of Wands was the one that was going to change location. And somehow people were going to stumble amongst themselves and find each other. But and again, remember the idea is that because there's so many moving parts and so many aspects of people involved in this, we ain't got time for people to get caught up in detours. And so it's like, you need to move in the way that we tell you to move right now. And it's like, okay. Because otherwise it's going to cause a delay that may ricochet. Because if I'm looking at a point on a map and all these lines are converging at this one point, what dynamic changes if all the moving parts of this thing do not align? Because the alignment is necessary for some kind of forward movement on something. Okay. There will very well may be, for some, an invitation. Or a proposition. I am in the Queen of Wands feels like the person that was supposed to be the thing that brought everything together. Again, they are the beacon that draws all the other energies together, like the thing that tips a whole community to come together. And their role hasn't necessarily changed, meaning they are still the beacon, like the source that like the light that draws the moths. You know what I mean? Like the magnet that pulls people in. But their role or what they're doing in order to do that, hear me out. It feels like somebody here is always the one that kind of like ends up bringing a bunch of energies together. Think of it like the one friend that has like 10 different friend groups, you know what I mean? And as a result, there's like two from here, and it's like somehow in their travels they kind of and like people come together. You can think of it like that. And so a new cohesive community is formed from that. Or they are the thing that, because of whatever they're doing in their life, um, it attracts a lot of stuff to them. But it feels as though, like, at some point, the Queen of Wands would be like think of a chessboard, would be the one making the moves. But instead, somebody's left their queen right in its spot, and all the other knights, pawns, different things are making their way to the queen. But she's the tipping point somehow. She pulls multiple things together in whatever this new path is. But something has changed in Spirit's plan in order of how to do this, right? How to call people in, how to be the beacon, how to whatever. And she's still calling aspects in, but in a different way. So because of that, some of the things that the others are having to do has switched up. So some people thought, you know what, I'd always be here, blah, 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 blah. But some, like, now they're the ones that are moving. Because it's almost like the plan has changed, but it hasn't. There's been delays because people have done whatever, you know what I mean? And so now Spirit's like, everybody needs to follow this through to a T so this goes off. There is a reason people are supposed to come together. It does feel like it's more than just two. Albeit, though, I feel as though love is something that's in the mix of this. Again. So, like, maybe, again, I keep getting a location on a map, and maybe people were going to come together in one location, but that's changed up. And maybe they're going to come together in a different location and then move. But something about, they keep showing me fucking maps. They keep showing me, like, something about where people are. So something has switched up because somehow paths haven't crossed. Everybody's getting the same bat signal. Wrap shit up, wrap shit up. This Queen of Wands is acting like the beacon to send out the bat signal, right? But because of the quickness at which something needs to transpire and all the moving parts, everybody needs to listen to a T. The end goal is still the same. The end goal is still the same. It's about bringing a community together and having a new start. But whatever is having to transpire to bring this about, let's just say the details have changed. The goal itself or the path itself has not. For the love of God. Yeah, these things have to happen so that someone's wish can actually, because Seven of Pentacles is like, is the epitome of the delay, you know? Like, you plant seeds and you're like, when is this shit gonna pop ground? Like, are we serious? Like, I know that seed packet said 3 weeks. What the, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, and maybe the conditions haven't been the best. That's part of some of the delays. That's why there's this switch up, right? Extenuating circumstances, because in this one, that's a damn drought. That's the desert. We're not going to act like something can actually grow out of something like that, right? And so there's a sense of like, something is finally going to happen. It obviously has been a delay because Seven of Pentacles is the idea of that long waiting process. And sometimes something feeling like it's not going to be successful because of things not going exactly how you thought. But somebody's getting it. It might be late, but it's happening. So what exactly is the correspondence between you? I know you lying. I wanted to see the correspondence between the Page of Swords and the Knight of Cups. Page of Swords. 5 of Pentacles. Hold on. The thing is, Five of Pentacles makes me think of not having the means or the capacity or whatever it is to do something. And somebody, why does it feel like somebody comes into the knowledge that another person doesn't have that? And that's why things are switching up. Oh, I get it. Thank you, Spirit. So the news or the information is, I think this is all parties involved are probably wondering why has shit switched up. It makes them think that there's a total change in, because this feels as though like a bunch of people knowing that something is supposed to happen within their life. Okay, you know what? And all feeling the pull to wrap some shit up, but also thinking, I thought this was going to go a little bit differently. And because it's going differently, they think something completely, totally different and something has really changed. And so what they were anticipating in life isn't going to happen. And it's like, no, 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 no. The information that you needed to know, that is the convergence of all of this, is that something was lacking in one of the areas, 5 of Pentacles. And so they had to rearrange something. So it's giving to me that the original plan was thwarted because if everybody has their thing that they've got to do in order to bring something together and have this new start, and one of those moving parts, like they've said, doesn't have what it is that they need to do, then they got to rearrange the plan. So that one, because again, there's this, remember I told you with the Chariot, everything has to align. If one of those aspects is left out, things aren't going to move forward. So someone here didn't have the means or capability to follow through on what Spirit was asking them. And so Spirit rearranged the plan on how to make all of these moving parts come together, but they're all still coming together. And it feels like it's still going to end up the same. We have the Hierophant with the 10 of Pentacles. This to me is the long-term plan and path is still a go. It's still like contracts haven't been renegotiated. Hierophant is also about contracts. So this is kind of like if you feel like, I know some people don't like these words and stuff like that, but, like your destined path and what was meant to always happen. And like, it's like something agreed upon before coming into this life and blah, blah, blah. Like something that's written or meant to be is still going to be. There's just a rearrangement of things. And all parties involved may not be like, I think everybody is experiencing like a switch up of how something unfolds. And so they're thinking, oh, this must mean the trajectory I thought was that was gonna happen isn't. And they're like, no, 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 it still is. We just had to redo something because the missing piece of information that every person in this scenario seems to be missing is that because one of the moving parts, one of the people, one of the things involved in this they were without. They didn't have the means or capacity to do the original plan. And so things got rearranged to make sure people still came together, to make sure this after the death card, this rebirth could happen, this birthing process could happen, this new something could happen. So people are still coming together, just in a different way. And so when you're looking at it and you're like, oh my God, this seems so not what I thought, is because it had to be rearranged. But because of this, there's a trust that needs to happen with spirit. And they're like, because things have been rearranged and the nuance of how something's going to unfold is different, it's that much more imperative that you listen, because you're not privy to this one. You're not privy to this plan. But things are going to be moving and moving very swiftly and changing very swiftly. And so it's kind of like we don't really have room for people to be like, well, I don't know. And so that's why this missing information is coming to you today, so that you understand that nothing is off the table. Nothing has really changed except for how something's going to unfold. It's not necessarily anybody's fault. It's just that one of the moving parts was lacking the capacity and what it needed to follow through. Again, nobody's fault. Shit happens. We were talking over here about society and something that's happening globally, and like all the different influences that could impact. And so as a result, spirit did a little magic, rearranged how something was going to happen. That's why everybody's like, what the fuck's happening? How is this unfolding? People are trying to stick to the original plan, because I feel like all moving parts kind of had this like idea of how to move forward, even if they didn't know all the details. And again, the way something is unfolding seems contradictory, because it's not quite the trajectory they were thinking, or even the time frame. And so all parts are probably a bit confused. And Spirit's like, I'm coming to give you the missing information, to let you know that it's all still happening. And dare I even say that their attempt is to still keep it within the time frame. And I don't know what time frame this is, because they've not made me privy to it, but I'm sure you're privy to it. You feel like something was going to happen within a certain time frame, but they've had to rearrange some things so that aspects can be, so everything can happen. And so don't pump the brakes, don't be questioning. Like, they're trying to give guidance on the actions to take, and somebody is like, whoa, 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 you need to inform me, what's going on, what's happening. And it's kind of like, no, look, best I can do is tell you we've had to rearrange some shit. We're still trying to keep it according to this thing. And even though the things that we're asking you to do and kind of directing to seems opposite of the trajectory you thought you were going to go, it is not. And that's about the gist of it. We ain't got time to get into all of this and to dissect something. We just need you to trust us and to act on it as we give you the intuitive hits and the guidance, okay? Because things are going to be moving at such a pace, they can't slow down to convince you that this is the right way. You just going to have to fucking tap in and lock in. Alrighty. Okay. So again, there are people wrapping things up in certain ways. Again, the gist of it is a lot of endings are happening, but it's like a successful completion of something, but it's being sped up. So if you also are like, oh, I thought I had a little bit more time, and why does everything feel like it's because of the rearrangement? Maybe your time frame for something has been shaved off. You know what I'm saying? And so, that could be part of it, is that, nope, now come on, let's do this. And it's like, whoa, wait, what? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That was quite a story. Can I just say? Took a hot fucking minute. It was like locked in and then got messy and then locked in again. And I'm like, okay. You either get it or you don't. Really, honestly, because that was a lot. Where are we at? We're at 55 minutes. I felt like 10 years trying to get that one out. Okay. For some of you, though, it does feel like you're a little bit, you're questioning the changes. Again, things are still going to, all the pieces have to fall into place in order to have success, Chariot. So everything's got to align, and it's going to align. Spirit is helping to rework this. I feel like somebody like, well, maybe this could happen and it could still pop off. Like you see the ways that something could still happen, even if it's not exactly how you thought. You're like, okay, this is good. And Spirit's like believe that, because you're feeling that way because you know there are multiple ways we could get this to happen. And again, this is sometimes why Spirit is like, don't get too rooted in how something is supposed to transpire. And there is this sense that Spirit is acknowledging the last minute changes. So like, when you're moving along a trajectory and everything seems to be unfolding exactly, not exactly, but like in the way you kind of anticipated, and then it just a switch up that feels sudden. It's kind of like, can have you question things, but it's for a reason. So they're also giving me like somebody didn't get to do something this summer that they were supposed to be able to do. And I think it has something to do with the Five of Pentacles. And that's where maybe a switch up had to happen. So it feels complete. Yeah, that feels complete. All right, well, I'm going to leave it there. I hope the message finds whoever it's meant for. You either get it or you don't, because good God. And I hope that everybody has a fantastic day, and I will see you at the next read.